Listen closely, because the moment you understand this, your relationships will never feel the same again. The silence you are afraid of is not empty, it is loaded, and the power you keep giving away every time you speak too soon, explain too much, or chase validation is the very power that could make you unforgettable. Right now, somewhere in America, a man is wondering why she pulled away the moment he showed his feelings, and somewhere else a woman is wondering why the man she can't stop thinking about barely says anything at all, and both of them are touching the same truth without seeing it yet, that desire does not grow in noise, it grows in restraint, and Stoicism understood this long before modern relationships forgot it. Stoicism was never about being cold or distant, it was about mastery of the self, and in relationships, mastery of the self is the rarest and most attractive thing in the room. When you enter a connection desperate to be understood, desperate to be chosen, desperate to be desired, you leak energy, and people feel it before they hear it. The Stoic understands that silence is not withdrawal, it is presence under control. When you do not rush to fill every gap with words, when you allow space to exist between touches, between messages, between moments, you give the other person room to feel you. This is where suspense is born. This is where attraction deepens. This is where intimacy stops being cheap and starts becoming intense. In the early stages of a relationship, especially between a man and a woman, the one who controls their emotional reactions often controls the direction of the bond. Not through manipulation, but through grounded calm. The Stoic does not chase, not because they do not care, but because they care enough not to abandon themselves. There is a moment in every connection where desire either sharpens or fades, and it usually happens in silence. It happens after a kiss that lingers a second longer than expected, after a conversation that ends without closure, after a look that says more than words could. Many people panic in these moments. They send the extra text, they explain their intentions, they try to lock the feeling down before it escapes. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Hold your ground, let the moment breathe, let the tension live. Sexual energy is not created by constant touch. It is created by anticipation. The body responds to mystery, to restraint, to the sense that something is possible but not guaranteed. When you speak less and feel more, when you stay centered instead of reactive, you become a presence that lingers in the mind. This is not about games, it is about self-respect. You are not withholding to punish, you are containing to protect your inner balance. In modern relationships, especially in American culture where everything is fast and loud and overshared, silence feels uncomfortable. We are taught that if you do not constantly express, you will be forgotten. Stoicism challenges that fear. The Stoic knows that what is truly valuable does not beg for attention. Think about the moments of deepest intimacy you have ever felt. They were probably quiet, a shared glance, a slow breath, the space between bodies where desire hums but does not explode yet. This is where connection becomes magnetic. When a man learns to sit in silence without losing confidence, he becomes grounded. When a woman learns to pause without chasing reassurance, she becomes powerful. This balance changes the entire dynamic. You stop trying to control the outcome and instead you control yourself. And paradoxically, that is when the outcome begins to align. Stoicism in relationships is not about suppressing desire. It is about refining it. Desire without discipline turns into neediness. Desire with discipline turns into attraction. Sexual tension is strongest when both people feel free, not cornered. When you are emotionally stable, when your sense of worth does not rise and fall with someone else's attention, you create safety, and safety is what allows passion to deepen. The Stoic lover does not rush intimacy, they let it unfold. They understand that the body responds to calm certainty more than frantic effort. A steady presence, a controlled tone, a calm gaze, these things communicate more than endless compliments. This is why silence can feel seductive. It invites curiosity. It makes the other person lean in, wonder, imagine. And imagination is the engine of desire. There is also a darker side to silence, and the Stoic walks this line carefully. Silence used from fear is avoidance. Silence used from strength is clarity. The difference is intention. If you are silent because you are afraid to be seen, you shrink. If you are silent because you are grounded in who you are, you expand. In relationships, this means you do not overshare your wounds too early. You do not dump your past on someone hoping they will save you. And you do not use sex to fill emotional emptiness. You let intimacy grow as trust grows. Stoicism teaches that self-control is freedom. When you can feel desire without being ruled by it, you are no longer desperate. You become selective. You choose connection not because you need it, but because it aligns with your values. And that choice is felt deeply by the other person. In the intimate space between two people, energy speaks louder than words. The Stoic understands that your nervous system is always communicating. When you are calm, present, and grounded, you invite the same in return. This is why Stoic relationships often feel intense without being chaotic. There is passion, but it is contained. There is sex, but it is not reckless. Touch becomes meaningful because it is not constant. When you touch with intention, when you hold eye contact without rushing to break it, when you allow pauses, the body responds. This is not about technique, it is about state of being. Desire responds to presence, and presence comes from a disciplined mind. Many people misunderstand Stoicism as emotional distance. But true Stoicism is emotional honesty without emotional slavery. You feel everything, but you are not controlled by what you feel. In relationships, this means you can want someone deeply without losing yourself. You can enjoy sex without using it to escape loneliness. You can love without clinging. This balance is rare, and rarity creates value. When you stop reacting to every emotional spike, when you stop chasing certainty, you become unpredictable in a healthy way. The other person cannot easily categorize you, and so they keep thinking about you. Suspense grows. Attraction deepens. Silence becomes charged. In the American dating landscape, where attention is currency and validation is addictive, Stoicism is a rebellion. It says you do not need to perform to be worthy. It says you do not need to constantly explain yourself. It says your calm is enough. This mindset changes how you show up on dates, how you text, how you handle conflict. Instead of escalating drama, you slow it down. Instead of arguing to be right, you choose peace, and peace is attractive. Not boring peace, but grounded confidence. The kind that makes someone feel safe enough to open up, to desire, to trust. Stoicism does not kill romance, it deepens it. There is a moment after intimacy, physical or emotional, where vulnerability hangs in the air. Many people rush to fill it with words, jokes, reassurance. The Stoic allows the moment to exist. This is where bonds form. This is where two people feel seen without explanation. Silence here is not absence. it is connection. When you can share silence comfortably, you share a deeper level of intimacy. This is where trust grows. This is where desire transforms into something more lasting. The Stoic knows that not every feeling needs to be spoken. Some feelings need to be felt fully before they are named. Ultimately, Stoic relationships are built on self-ownership. You are responsible for your emotions, your desires, your boundaries. You do not hand that responsibility to another person. This creates equality. No one is chasing, no one is running. Two whole individuals choose each other. And in that choice, passion thrives. Sex becomes an expression, not a transaction. Silence becomes a tool, not a weapon. And love becomes a practice, not a drama. If you remember nothing else, remember this: the more you master yourself, the less you need to control others. The less you chase, the more you attract. The more comfortable you are in silence, the louder your presence becomes. Stoicism is not about shutting down, it is about standing still while everything else rushes. And in relationships, that stillness is magnetic. It invites desire, deepens intimacy, and creates a connection that does not burn out fast, but glows steadily, quietly, and intensely, long after the noise fades.